Hello, everyone. I'm sitting right here in my living room looking at my laptop. Let me move it over here just a little, trying to make the screen look best as possible. This is an expensive laptop, but it kind of has I guess, a okay camera. Anyway, this live stream is about Chrisley Knows Best. Everybody knows Chrisley Knows Best. It's a show that comes on the USA Network. It is also streamed or broadcast over a couple more networks. It shows a lot of reruns. Well, season 9 is supposed to finish running. It has all of season 9 hasn't aired yet, and season 10 was supposed to be recorded soon. But that's not one of my favorite shows. I'm not a big fan of Chrisley Knows Best. I have to admit, over the last couple of weeks, I have gotten where I had liked the show, and I seen one day about Todd and Julie Chrisley being Todd and Julie Chrisley being charged in 2019 with several counts, 12 counts, up to 12 counts of bank fraud and also tax evasion. And what really kind of I don't like about the situation is this. First of all, if Sonia loves the show, and I told her recently, I am a very analytical person. I told her recently something didn't make sense. I told her that about 2 months ago. I look at people's bio, like Chrisley Knows Best, and it said he's only got $1 million in the bank. He's only got $1.6 million in the bank, but he made $6 million from this show, Chrisley Knows Best. He's made $2 million there, $3 million there, from real estate, and he's only got $1 million in the bank. I said, that's something's fishy there. I said, either he's hiding money or laundering money, because the man should have more money than that. Anyway, to make a long story short, in 2019, they were charged with tax evasion, $2 million tax evasion. The state of Georgia only found them guilty or made a deal. They made a deal with the state of Georgia where they were supposed to pay $200,000 to the IRS. But the tax evasion charge was for $2 million. Well, come to find out, the federal government, after the state of Georgia, now Todd and Julie Chrisley Knows Best, all of them lived in Atlanta, Georgia when all this was taking place. They moved to Nashville, I think it said in 2018. But anyway, make a long story short, they were charged in 2019 with tax evasion in Georgia. They made a deal with Georgia, and place had to repay $2 million. They only had to repay $200,000. Okay, well, anybody knows if you get in the eye of the federal government, they will do an audit. And when they do an audit, they check everything. Well, come to find out, before Chrisley Knows Best, before Todd Chrisley became famous on Chrisley Knows Best, they had not paid hardly any taxes over a 9-year period. And when the federal government dug a little bit deeper, and a lot of people had come out of the woodwork and started complaining, saying all these, big business corporations and people they even supposed to have been friends with, from my understanding, when they would say they would rent a house somewhere or something, or rent or have take for instance, Julie Chrisley rented a house in California, and I think it said she was supposed to pay like $6,000 a month rent. Well, over like a 6-month period, they didn't pay a dime, and she falsified a credit application to rent a house in California. Also, when the federal government got to digging, they committed bank fraud. They went to one bank, I think it said, and told the bank they had $4 million invested in Merrill Lynch. They didn't have a Merrill Lynch account. So this is what really chaps my head. Todd Chrisley made millions of dollars in real estate in Atlanta, several $1 million. They were wealthy, but they spent millions of dollars. So to continue to live a lifestyle of the rich and famous, what did they do? What did he do? What did Todd Chrisley do? What did Julie Chrisley do? What did one of their friends, and also even their tax accountant, he falsified documents to try to hide where they were not paying, tried to hide their money so they didn't have to pay any taxes. So he's been convicted. Another guy, I think at least 3 in all, if not 4, got convicted. But to make a long story short, the federal government looked at all the documents they had submitted to banks. And what had happened is they had lied continuously to banks about how much money they had, about how much property they owned in order to acquire to get these big bank loans. So they lied. And it said on several, I was looking and doing some background checking, and it said Julie Chrisley, she took tape and like that white out and would try to falsify documents, and tinker or fix a document so it showed they had more money than it did. When the federal government asked them for their tax records, and it started asking them about their, they wanted to see where they filed taxes. They take money and they put it, or takes some money or a house, whatever, and they put it in Todd Chrisley's mother's name. So they try to hide their tax records and stuff and hide their money by changing it over to other hands. So if you ever watch that show, Todd Chrisley looks into the camera and he says, and he's talking to his children, he's talking to other children who is watching the show, I'm sure, on the USA Network or whatever show it's, it broadcasts on several different channels. He looks into the camera and he says, if you make the right decisions in life, you will be successful. If you manage your money, you will be successful. He's just a fraud. He is a fraud. When you sit there and look into a camera and you tell everybody you're successful in life, the reason you've got millions, the reason you've got these 6 houses, the reason you've got these 12 luxury cars is because you've made all the right decisions in life. So to come out, so this is what makes it so bad. They were worth millions of dollars, but they spent millions. So he was obviously, he did not manage his money good. They wanted to live a lifestyle of billionaires when they only had a couple millions. So you cannot live a billionaire lifestyle with a couple $1 million. So they spent their millions and they went to banks and they lied on documents. They failed to pay Uncle Sam his taxes for 9 years. And Uncle Sam, when he gets his claws in you, he's not going to release them. So this past Monday, they were found guilty on all 12 counts. Todd Chrisley was found guilty on 10 counts. Julie Chrisley was found guilty on 12 counts, where she falsified the credit report in California to rent that house for 6 months. She was found guilty on wire fraud and credit fraud in California. So she was found guilty on 12 counts. But all in all, they were found guilty on all the charges of bank fraud and tax evasion. So it's never okay to steal. And don't get on TV and look into the camera where you're talking to your son and other young people are watching the show and you telling them how good a person you are, how to invest your money, how to be wise, how to make the right decisions. They're just a bunch of white-collar frauds. And that's all I got to say about that. It's never okay to steal from the banks. It's never okay to make $6 million and fail to pay taxes for 9 years. It's never okay. So they falsified documents. They tried to scam Uncle Sam out of paying taxes for 9 years. They were found guilty. So they are on house arrest, Todd and Julie Chrisley. And the only time they're supposed to be able to leave their house is to go grocery shopping or go to the doctor or go to work. But anyway, make a long story short, they moved from Atlanta in 2018 to Nashville, Tennessee. And I told my girlfriend, Sonia Hensley, who watches Chrisley Knows Best all the time, now I know why they fled Atlanta and went to Nashville, Tennessee, because they stole $30 million. They stole $30 million from banks in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And then after they stole $30 million, I think they paid maybe $10 million back or whatever, 5 or 10 million back. They filed for bankruptcy and walked away owing banks $20 million. Well, when the feds looked into it, on all those bank accounts, they committed fraud. They lied to the banks to get millions and millions of dollars. And that's the bottom line. So Chrisley Knows Best should be retitled on the USA Network. Chrisley Stole Best. And their sentencing date has been set for October the 6th, 2022. It's never okay to lie to the banks. It's never okay to falsify bank documents. It's never okay to falsify tax records. It's never okay to falsify credit reports to rent a house. You can run, but you can't hide. Chrisley Knows Best should be retitled Chrisley Stole Best. This is your boy, the Big O, checking out. I hope you have enjoyed my live stream. I just got through grinding me some fresh organic coffee. And I cannot believe that the USA Network is still going to continue to run the rest of the season 9 that has not been aired. The last couple of episodes of season 9 has not been aired. And I think I'm not even sure if they're going to try to record season 10, but the bottom line is they have got to report to court October 6, 2022 in a federal courthouse in Atlanta, Georgia. Quit looking into the camera, Todd Chrisley, and trying to tell people how to manage their money, how to be successful when you are just a fraudster. He's a flam man. He's a fraudster. So I don't feel sorry for him. You know, you had millions, spent millions, and then turn around and want to live a billionaire lifestyle and become a flam man, commit fraud, tax evasion, looking into the camera, telling everybody how successful you are, how honest of a person you are. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this live stream. Chrisley Knows Best should be retitled Chrisley Stole Best. This is your boy, the Big O, checking out. I'm drinking some fresh organic coffee, and I didn't commit fraud, or I did not steal it. I paid for it. It's always the best to be honest. You know, Big O's out. Have a good, wonderful evening. Thanks for joining my live stream. The next time, friends, I will see you all in the next video. Chrisley Knows Best should be changed to Chrisley Stole Best.